So I wasn't sure what exactly to call this video. And so I think I'm going to go with the No Public Restroom Test. Now, this test is sort of a protocol that you can use anytime you're in a situation where you feel like you just can't get what you want or what you need. And what I bet is that will help you to not only be a bit happier, but also to achieve more and be much more successful in any area of life. So here's how I came about this rule. About, a few days ago, me and my girlfriend were traveling to a company event in West Virginia, and we had to stop at this real redneck, beat up Circle K gas station. I mean, it was out there. And I kid you not, it literally was so kind of like redneck ghetto that it had like a wanted poster on the front door of this guy just printed out black and white, and it was like, PJ, lifetime ban for repeated theft. And I'm like, can you imagine getting a lifetime ban from your local gas station? Okay, but anyway, we go inside and we're looking for a place to use the bathroom. We're both dying, and we just can't find one. And so we're starting to walk out, and Kate tells me, oh, wait, right on the front door it says no public restroom. And I'm like, yeah, but he got to be a way. I can go out back, but you need to just ask. And she's like, it says right there's no public restroom. I'm like, trust me, I feel like if you ask, something will happen. So anyway, I go outside, I come to my car, and I can see in the window, all of a sudden, this cashier like kind of guiding her to this place behind the register and going over to a bathroom. And when Kate comes back out, she says, yeah, I basically asked her, and she the cash register lady like looked around and was like, well, as long as Sarah don't see us, I think I can help you out. And then like snuck her off to use the bathroom. And I said, okay. This is like the life lesson. Like this is, like, I don't know if you appreciate this, but this is like the most important life lesson possible. This is like a microcosm, like a mini example of the macrocosm of this huge thing. And as you can imagine, Kate at this point is almost starting to like roll her eyes like, oh, here we go. Like seriously, like think about this. In pretty much any area of life, there are just these huge signs posted everywhere saying no public restroom, no public restroom. Can't do it. We don't have it. There's no option. You can't get it done. You can't go to the bathroom. You can't get what you want. You can't get what you need. And what do? 99% of people, 99% of the time, do what? We just say, oh, well, it says right there on the front door, no public restroom. That's it. We don't even challenge that or question it or maybe just ask, right? It's not even saying that it's going to be the case every time. It may be 50% of the time, it may be that 80% of the time I walk up to the cashier and I'm like, hey, would you have a restroom I could use? And they say, hey, dumbass, didn't you read right there on the sign that there's no public restroom? But 10% of the time, 20% of the time, some percent of the time, it's going to be the case, I think quite often even, that they're going to have a bathroom for me. And that 10% of the time is infinitely more than 0% of the time. And 0 is the amount you will get what you want or what you need if you simply don't ask or you take that perception for granted. And now, of course, I should have said earlier in this last example, the public restroom is a metaphor for so many other things. I think about, if you don't know me by now, I literally majored in happiness studies at the University of Alabama. And then I created the first ever happiness course at the University of Alabama. And so as a senior in college, I said, I want to teach a course on happiness, the first one ever. And it was, oh, well, you have to have a master's to teach. And, oh, you have to get institutional approval. Oh, you have to get the course accredited. Oh, you have to have a special registration process. Oh, you have to, no public restroom, no public restroom, no public restroom. And guess what? I taught the first class on happiness. I created the first major in happiness studies. Every single thing. And so I'll give you another example. So I booked a keynote for a national association for next year. And here's how it happened. Okay, so last year, the education director was talking to me on email, and she was like, hey, I think we want to book you to speak. I said, okay, let's have a conversation. When can we meet? She never replied. Me and my assistant dropped the ball and never replied. And so months after their event had already passed, I remembered this and saw the email and realized what happened. And so this was now maybe 2 months ago. I sent her a follow-up email to that email thread saying, what happened? I'm sorry, but let's talk. Didn't get anything back. A few weeks went by. Called, left a voicemail. Didn't get anything. Called, left a voicemail. Nothing. Replied, I think over the last 2 months, I replied 2 more times to that email thread and left 4 voicemails. And finally, about a week ago, I called into the main office and I said, hey, can I speak to someone else in the education department? And so I got connected to her coworker and said, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of Jessica. Can you help me out? And finally, that's how I got through to Jessica. And when I picked up the phone, I was almost like cringing because I'm like, she's going to just have it out for me. Like, this is going to be like, what kind of stalker calls 4 times and then calls my coworker to get a hold of me? And the first words out of her mouth were, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I haven't gotten back to you and I didn't see your email, but yeah, let's talk. And anyway, I'm on their calendar for next year. So same idea here. Is that so many times we go through life, the real danger is that it's not even like we're making a conscious decision. Like we say, oh, no public restroom. Again, metaphorically. No public restroom. Oh, okay. I guess it's possible they have it. It's possible they don't. But all things considered, I don't think it's worth trying. It's so much more automatic than that, is we just take it as reality that it's not possible and we don't even ask. We don't even take that one additional step. And if we did, imagine, what would be on the other side of those kind of perceptions or beliefs we have about reality? Oh, yeah, there's no way for me to get what I want in this situation. I just can't get my needs met in this situation. And it's like, well, did you even ask? Like, did you even try? Did you take that first no? 90% of the time is never a real no. It's just, I'm too busy, or I don't think so. Or you perceive it as a no, even though it's not a no. And so this is what the no public restroom test is. Great if you take a lot of road trips or something and you have to use the bathroom in weird places. You get some value of that, but again, it's a metaphor. So the metaphor being that anytime you are in a situation where the brain tends to just default, if there's not an obvious solution or there is any even suggestion that it's not possible, the brain loves to conserve energy, and it's just going to default to say, oh, it's not possible. I'm not even going to ask. I'm not even going to try. The no public restroom test is to evoke awareness for you that anytime you are in a situation like that, where you kind of catch yourself having an implicit belief that, oh, I just can't do it, or there's no option, or this isn't going to work out. It's not to say it will work out every time, but you need to run it through the no public restroom test where you say, well, is it possible that there's still a solution? Could I ask? Could I even try a slightly different way? And it's making sure that you are conscious of what are often unconscious beliefs. That there's just no restroom, this just won't work, the person doesn't want it, whatever. And my wager to you is that quite often you will find that your perception that it's not possible, you can't get what you want, you can't get what you need, is just that. It is a perception. It is not reality. It is an assumption. It is assumed perception. And that if you push yourself, you're going to get what you want. Now, so one last example of this is a friend of mine recently who has had someone reach out to him about like his dream job, and they were like, oh, you're like a perfect candidate. The problem was this job started in July. And he's like, well, I'm based out of Pittsburgh, and I'm at the University of Pittsburgh, and this job starts in July, they said, and like, well, I changed my major, and so I need to finish up. I need an extra semester to finish. And so he's like, oh, I'm depressed because it was just such a good job opportunity, but yeah, I'm just not even going to reply. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So first of all, what city is this in Ohio? And he Googles it, and he's like, oh, shoot, well, it's actually only like 40 minutes away. So he's like, okay, so it's actually very close by. You could easily commute there if you needed to, right? Which didn't even think to check that. Phase 2 of this is I said, so yeah, you need a finance degree or whatever it is to do this job. But did the person specifically tell you, hey, the day you start, we will collect your diploma and your transcripts and verify it, and then you can start? Or did they just say, hey, you need a finance major and we think you're a perfect candidate? He's like, well, they didn't really say. So I'm like, okay, so your default assumption was it's really far away in Ohio and I have to have everything done by July, so there's nothing I can do. What if you were to call this hiring manager right now and say, look, You think I'm a great fit for this role. It is my dream job. I'm so excited about it that I want to just give you a call right now. Now, here's the thing you need to understand is that a couple years ago, I changed my major and found I was more passionate about this thing I'm doing now. And so I need an extra semester to complete my degree requirements. But here's a commitment I'll make to you is I'm ready to start July 1st, the day you need me. And while I do that, during the evenings, I will commute to get my remaining courses done. I'll take a couple of them online. And come December, I'll have my diploma. And now if I do not complete my degree or I do not complete it in a way that is satisfactory to you, you can let me go. And not only that, I will pay back my 5 months of salary just so that there's no risk for you because I just feel so good about this role. Now, let's pause. Who is more likely to get this role? The candidate who does the second thing, the phone call, or the one who says, well, I don't know if I can do this. And more importantly, zoom that out to your entire career, your entire education, your love life, your passion, anything you want. Who is more likely to have a better life, to be happier and more successful? So that's the fundamental shift of the no public restroom test. Again, it's a metaphor. So in every single area, you need to ask yourself this question, run your beliefs through this test, and I really think this can be a transformative practice for you to have in your daily life. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Here's a video that YouTube suggests you'll like. Of course, on this channel, I share often research and more scientific insights into the study of happiness, but I also like to share videos like this that are more stories or we could call practical experience. And so I hope you got value out of it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.